All right, today I wanted to introduce you to one of my favorite contemporary photographers, meaning still alive, still making work. His name is Danila Tkachenko. He is Russian, and we're going to look at three different bodies of work over the course of this video. The first one is called Monuments, and after that will be Motherland, and then Restricted Areas. And these three projects, I think we'll find as we look at them and we'll read the statements that Danila Tkachenko has written about those projects. We will at the same time understand the ways in which they are different and the ways in which they are the same, or the things, at least, the thematic similarities between them. Because when we're talking about artists that work within a single big idea, oftentimes that will manifest itself differently in different types of work, different bodies of work, and but at the end of the day, when you kind of observe them all together, they still are all kind of tributary to a single big idea. So let's start it off with monuments, and here is as we look through the images, I'll just read his artist statement that he's written about this body of work. Again, this project is called Monuments. It researches the boundaries of historical memory, the area between fact and fiction. As in the case of political regimes in general, every single one of us is individually inclined to exploit images of the past for the sake of our current needs or future goals. We come up with new interpretations and build additional structures to manipulate images of past history. I have been using abandoned Orthodox churches in this project. They were all abandoned at the same time in 1917 after the Russian Revolution. I erect lightweight structures on abandoned historical sites in abstract modernist shapes. During the filming, not a single site suffered. At the end of the work, all the decorations are dismantled. Now, the next body of work is called Motherland, and this has a relatively short artist statement. Again, we'll roll the images as I read the statement, but this just says, Motherland is a memorial project, a farewell to already dead and not functioning constructions. And the last one is restricted areas. Again, we'll roll the images as I read the statement. The project Restricted Areas is about the utopian strive of humans for technological progress. Humans are always trying to own ever more than they have. This is the source of technical progress, which was the means to create various commodities, standards, as well as the tools of violence in order to keep the power over others. Better, higher, stronger, these ideals often express the main ideology of governments. For these goals, they are ready to sacrifice almost everything. While the individual is supposed to become a tool for reaching the set goals and receive in exchange the higher level of comfort. I travel in search of places which used to have great importance for the technical progress and which are now deserted. Those places lost their significance together with the utopian ideology which is now obsolete. Secret cities that cannot be found on maps, forgotten scientific triumphs, abandoned buildings of almost inhuman complexity, the perfect technocratic future that never came. Any progress comes to its end earlier or later. It can happen due to different reasons: nuclear war, economic crisis, or natural disaster. For me, what's interesting is to witness what is left after. So we have these three seemingly different projects. We've got Danila Tkachenko building new architectural shapes on top of old Orthodox churches and then photographing them as a way of kind of referencing the way in which the past is co-opted by the present to promise a better future. We've got another series of series of photographs where structures are burning to the ground in some kind of eulogy, I guess, or farewell to constructions that no longer serve a purpose. And then we've got the restricted areas, which is, Danila Tkachenko is traveling through Siberia and photographing all of this old evidence of the Soviet Union before it fell, trying to push itself forward into the future. So I think, if you take a step back and you observe the three projects at the same time, I think what you find is that really what is interesting to Danila Tkachenko is the past. But it can be a little bit more complicated than that. It's kind of like this complicated relationship between the past and the present and the future. And also, some of it's a little bit about memory, I think, how people remember things differently once they've moved on from them, how you might look back on something with a more favorable eye than you had while it was going on. So if I had to, if Danila Tkachenko was in our digital photo 2 class, his big idea might reflect this interesting relationship between the past, the present, and the future. And he happens to study that through structures. But again, you could study that through people and their stories. You could study that through almost anything. It just so happens that his interest lies kind of in the structures of the past, and how the past can be kind of co-opted and reused. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Let's keep him in mind as we're doing our case studies. Let's keep all of these things in mind as you are not only thinking of your own big ideas, but continuing to do your kind of brainstorming process as we move forward. As always, if you have any questions, go ahead and email me, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can.